Good morning, folks. Here's a little story or a series of stories from Bounding into Comics about Star Wars again. And it's kind of about the whole female led or female centric Star Wars stories that may be coming out. We're not sure. The latest rumor comes from a top Disney executive comment from a blog post over the rumored female centric Star Wars and what they think about that. This is kind of silly, but hey, it could be true. We're not sure. So here's the blog poster at WDW Pro. All right, I usually am the one explaining what's going on behind the scenes, but I could use a little help with this one. I got a friend in the know who says this morning, Pacific time, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are unhappy with Lucasfilm, and there is faster than normal movement going on to get high-level meetings going. What the heck is going on? I'm on the road, so I can't dig on this, but what could possibly be going on with Lucasfilm that would create a scurry when everybody is basically working from home, if at all? The term that was used was livid, but I just can't imagine what they could possibly have done. Now, this is on Thursday, so that's, let's see, on the 23rd last week. So the report of the alternate timeline female-centric Star Wars series for Disney Plus in development by Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. That could be the reason. And he goes, oh, yep, you beat me to it. Apparently the goobers at Lucasfilm hired Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, who comes with significant PR baggage, potentially legal baggage, and did so without consulting Disney or their legal department. Makes sense now. I couldn't figure out how they could even screw up from home, but they found a way. So this could be a possible rumor as to why things are happening at Disney right now. Now, if you don't know the previous story, which happened last week, that was about Leslye Headland, and she had a little rant on, this is Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. She had a little rant about, I guess, women in movies or in stories and the language she needed to use in order to facilitate this change or this good thing. It's a strange reaction. It's clearly PC and all those other left-leaning things. But I'll just give you a little clip just to hear what exactly she was saying.
White women need to kind of step up their game, to be quite honest. Like, caught up in like what kind of terminology I was supposed to be using and being politically correct. And so as I started to rise in television, I started to just get more blunt and just start saying, like, I would like a black writer. Because if I said diverse, you get, well, white is diverse, which is something somebody said to me. And I was like, wow.
Well, there's plenty of people in Europe that are of white dispositions that are quite diverse. So clearly this is someone PC or trying to be PC and is apparently going to be writing a female-centric Star Wars story. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with any kind of story related to men or women or gays or minorities or what have you. It doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't really matter to anyone. All we really want is a good story. But when you sell it as such, when this is your selling point, your sales pitch, that's when you have a problem. And there's a person on John Campea's podcast that put this in such a beautiful way while he was talking. It was amazing. This was something that happened a few days ago. It was just great. Here we go.
Listen. I can already hear the man babies crying about, why is it female-centric? There's an agenda. Listen, let's just put that to bed and not touch on this again, shall we? Listen, they've already got 3 other series coming that are all male lead, okay? That means right now, if this comes out and it's only 4 shows, that's 75% of their male lead. They got one that's going to happen to be a female lead one. Deal with it and just move on. So can we move on from that? Thank you.
So that was, he's not being irrational saying we have these other stories which are male-centric. Why can't we have one female? Totally fine. The problem is how they sold that in the news brief. It's like, oh, here's female-centric story. It's like, that's not Star Wars. Star Wars is about heroes. It's about space opera. It's about melodrama, about laser swords hitting each other and space battles and philosophy. It's not, hey, women are in charge. We don't care. It's not a big deal. You should never sell yourself, hey, look, we have the first female, whatever. It's like, no, that doesn't make a story. That's not a character. And here we have Erin Cummings, who just knocks it out of the park. She's amazing.
I'm going to be a little surprised about what I have to say, though.
Okay.
I really, really loathe the descriptor of female-led, because here's why. I love the idea of a predominantly female cast. I think it's fantastic. But my problem is, why are you only releasing the fact that it's a female-centric show? Oh, and they're going to be doing some kung fu or whatever. Like, why say that? Like, can you read me the headline again? Except take out female-centric and just put male-centric.
Let me see.
Sorry,
here.
you weren't planning on going back to that.
I wasn't planning on going back to that shot.
The point is, these other shows that you talk about that are predominantly male-driven, nobody says, oh, we have this upcoming series. We're not going to tell you anything about it, but it's going to be predominantly men. You want to watch? Like, that's exactly what it's saying. And like, for me, yes, I want to see shows with more women, obviously. But you don't have to say that's the selling point.
Yeah, and John's calling everyone man babies for not liking the female-centric story, because that's all we know about it.
Tell me a little bit about the story. Make me fall in love with the story, because ultimately, if the show, ultimately, I'm gonna finish that thought. Ultimately, if the show does fail, then it looks like it failed because it was female-centric, not because of a million other factors that it could have failed by. And also, when the first news of it is female-centric, I know that there's a lot of people, not just men, but also some women named Karen, who also are just going to be like, all right, I'm not interested in that. I'm tuning that out.
So that's the general idea, that there is this female-centric story that people probably won't be interested in. Might be because of an agenda. We're not sure. It's just going to be bad storytelling. And we don't have to look at the sales of toys to figure that out, that a lot of these toys that, well, had female characters, like in The Last Jedi, aren't really selling very well. So if anyone knows anything about trying to make Star Wars marketable, the toy department isn't really cutting it, and it might be due to the quality of the films. The funny thing about John Campea is he seems to have a change of opinion. I don't know if it's just he's not using his brain, or maybe he's never had the capacity to criticize things properly. But he's changed his mind apparently on The Last Jedi, which is, I mean, is this going to be the norm for everyone? Everyone who loves The Last Jedi will certainly go, it wasn't that good. The difference is John Campea's opinion of The Last Jedi is so bizarre. And this is from September last year. Just to see his reaction from now, or from 2019 and when it first came out.
I love Rian Johnson as a filmmaker, and I liked The Last Jedi, but it's my least favorite of all the new Star Wars films, if I'm going to be honest. There are things in there. I mean, it's the original trilogy way up here, and then down here somewhere is, you got The Force Awakens, you got Rogue One, you got Solo, and then you got The Last Jedi, and then way down by the bottom of my feet is the prequels.
Oh, no, I ain't got you yet. Should I get him? Should I get him?
And I'm going to start off talking about this movie by going right to it. I loved it. I love this movie, man. I love this movie. Now, it is worthy of the Star Wars name. Look, I'm not just paying lip service. I know I just said this about Carrie, but it has to be said about Mark as well. This is the best performance as Luke Skywalker Mark Hamill's ever given us. Carrie Fisher, in my opinion, has never been better.
Okay. Sorry. Let's just keep going.
As Leia. She's never been better as Leia. Rose. I love this character. But the moment she shows up in the movie, you're just totally...
Okay, so his review is he loves the movie like crazy, but later on it's like, yeah, it's not as... It's better than the prequels, but it's at the bottom of the barrel of all Star Wars movies. So if you were to rank from 1 to 9, 9 being the highest, this would be the 4. The Last Jedi, as of September 2019. So I don't know if we can trust John's opinion when it comes to what he loves. It seems to be a roller coaster. And who knows, maybe his opinion on female-centric Star Wars might change too. We don't know. Probably won't be too hot if that's your selling point. Like, no one goes around saying, hey, you know what, we're going to have a male-led Star Wars or male-led Star Trek or this. It's like, this is dumb. Why would that be a selling point? Who cares? So obviously Disney is not completely crazy if the rumors are true that people are freaking out and saying, what the hell are you people doing spending all this money giving jobs to people we haven't approved yet on toy lines no one's buying, all because they're female, and putting people like Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant, who's clearly got an agenda going for her. If she can't even use language properly, and she has to ask people what language to use. The only time you have to ask what language to use is if you're a writer and your editor is telling you, oh, maybe you should try this word or that word, or your grammar here is a bit too difficult, or maybe you should try a different sentence. Not, oh, yeah, this term is politically correct, or I want to hire a black writer. Oh, boy. Well, thanks for listening, guys. I had fun with this, but have yourself a great day.